Let's go. All right, all right, all right. How you guys doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I want to welcome you to the Man to Man Let's Talk Facebook Live show. We have a phenomenal guest that is going to be with us. I want you to know my neighbor, Mr. Daiquari Wilson. So excited for him to accept the invite to come and share some words with us and talk to us a little bit about who he is. But I just want to let you guys know about the Man to Man Let's Talk Facebook Live show and what it's all about. Basically, my goal is to introduce my neighbors to you. There's a lot of people who don't know the great things that the people on my end are doing. And so my goal is to introduce those individuals to you. And you may be inspired by them. You even may be able to support these individuals in the things that they're doing. Listen, we all in this together. And so the more that we get to know the connections that we have, we just never know how we can help or be impacted by those individuals. So this is what the Man to Man Let's Talk Facebook Live show is all about. Man to Man Let's Talk is a men empowering organization that creates a safe place for discussion that express to men the definition of who we are as men. We talk about who we are and who we belong to, and also our responsibility in the domain or the area where God has put us in. It's important for us to know who we are so we can be what God has created us to be. That's what Man to Man Let's Talk is all about. You can go to www.m2mletstalk.com for more information. It's www.m, the number 2m, let's talk.com for more information. We do workshops, we do conferences, and we do our Man Talk Saturday breakfasts. And right now we're doing it via Zoom. And when we're able to get back into a building setting, we'll do it in settings and Zoom as well, where we reach out to people all across the country. So I encourage all men to please attend by all means. Okay, as Man to Man, let's talk. We are flooding the news feed on Facebook here on Sunday mornings at 9. We have a word from the Lord at 8 o'clock on Monday mornings. We have prayer time on Wednesdays. We have Hallelujah Hump Day with my son. And on Fridays, we have Word of Empowerment from yours truly, Eugene Johnson Jr., your host and president of Man to Man. Let's talk. So we hope, guys, to see you there. And ladies, we need your help. We need you to encourage the men that's in your network to be a part of an organization like Man to Man. Let's talk. Because the better we are, the better that we can be for you. So the more that we get together and we have conversations about the things that help us be better men, I guarantee you we'll be much better in our homes, in our communities, in our churches, in our cities, this country, and most importantly, in this world. So, ladies, please, please help us out. Share the information when you see it, and you just never know. Your share just might save somebody's soul. Also, please go to my YouTube channel, Man to Man Let's Talk, for the information that you may not see on Facebook, but you'll see on the YouTube channel. Please subscribe there. Thank you very much. Now, enough about that. Let's talk about my man Dackley. Real excited about him and all the great things that he is doing. Dackley and I went to school together. We met at Nicholls State University, and we actually played football together. And so I'm real excited for him to be here. Uh, he started in Dallas. He went to Carter High in Dallas, Texas. Uh, he played football there, and from there he went on to California in a junior college and played a couple of years there. He got a liberal arts degree and earned a football scholarship to Nicholls State University in Thibodaux, Louisiana. He earned a bachelor's degree in general studies and a minor in government. Through his years in playing football, he was a linebacker. He earned all conference honors as a sophomore, led the team in tackles his sophomore and senior year, and was voted captain of his sophomore and senior year. My man is straight up leader, you best believe. His professional career We'll talk about that. He's an independent claims adjuster, primarily on catastrophe storm events and working for State Farm. So we're definitely going to talk about that. And most importantly, his community work with Operation Push. He is the president of Operation Push that was established in 2013. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization targeting men between the ages of 10 and 14, created to encourage early start on collegiate preparation and entrepreneurial development. Also focus on impacting the community with events that encourage positive change. So listen, that right there is nothing compared to what he's going to share with you. That was just an appetizer of what my man is going to bring to us tonight. So I'm really excited for Daiquiri to come, and I want you guys not only to welcome him with a lot of love, but also share this video, because somebody that you're connected to may be impacted by it, and we don't want to miss the opportunity of sharing this information that will be helpful for you and for the people that you're connected to. So I want you to take the time now to get a chance to know my neighbor. This is my man, the man with the plan, Mr. Daiquiri Wilson. Hey, Dak, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, it's going, man. Good day.
Good, good. You're a little sideways, man. You're a little sideways.
I think it turned me
There
around.
we go. There we go. Yeah, my man right there. Hey, man, it's so good to see you, and I'm so glad that you decided to join us this evening. And I'm excited that you're about to bless us with some great words of all the things that you're doing, and hoping that somebody will hear the words about Operation Push and anything else that you're talking about, that they'll be able to help you. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that, before, let me ask you this. We didn't talk about this before. I just thought about this. Now, I told everybody, you and I, we went to school together. We met, playing football and everything. And what was your first year like when you got on campus ground at Nicholls State University, and just the atmosphere? What was that like for you? I really want to know. There
I'm
you
sorry, the
go.
last part, we was having connection issues, but you were saying what was the atmosphere like at Nicholls?
Yeah, how did you feel when you came to Nicholls, first time settle into a new environment?
What was the atmosphere like?
Yes, sir.
Basically, first coming in, to Nicholls State University, which was primarily a white school. And we did have, the New Orleans, Mississippi, Louisiana folks that was there. A lot of those folks were either locals or mostly athletes, football, basketball, what have you. But initially the atmosphere it was to me a brotherhood. I immediately joined the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Coach Dunbar at the time, who's now the defensive line coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he was in Fellowship of Christian Athletes. He took me under his wing. And some of the older guys, like yourself, Sean Johnson, Murphy Edwards, some of those older guys that were older than me kind of took me under their wing and, kind of showed me the ropes. Kiva Connor was another. So it didn't take me very long. The campus, was a family environment. And it didn't take long at all to just kind of get acclimated with the brothers there, and just try to find my way, and, just growing and developing as a young man. So, and like I say, that's one of the reasons why now, 20 years later, I still have these dynamic relationships with awesome people like yourself.
Nah, man, I appreciate that, man. I'm so glad for our connection, man. I mean, we had a good time, and I'm so good to see people like you who are doing great things after football. Some people, man, they just still trying to recover on how to live life after football. But
Right.
you know, life moves on, and we're doing a pretty good job at doing that. And I'm excited about all the great things that you are doing. So I want to ask you this question, man. What is your definition of a man?
My definition of a man is a couple things. I like to, some people do them in numerical order, some people do bullet points, but first I would say a man to me is one that is a leader. He's a great listener. He's also a servant. He's also someone that has faith. I'm a Christian believer. I believe in Jesus Christ. So faith is important. And then someone that is accountable. I think when you put all that together, a leader, a servant, a listener, someone of faith, accountability, all those things are, to me, is what the definition of a man is. Because to me, you can't be a man without leading, because if you're a man and you have a family, you have to be a leader of your household. Not only that, if you're in any community, wherever you live, you have to be a leader in your community. And then also, too, in order to have faith, our faith comes by hearing. So we have to be great listeners to understand and get instructions. Because, you know, going back to football, in order for us to be able to carry out any play or execute any plan on the field or in life, we have to be able to get those instructions. And not only that, we have to be accountable, and then we have to have the discipline to carry out the plan. So in a nutshell, all those things, you know, discipline, accountability, a servant, a leader, and a great listener are things that I would basically refer to as a definition of a man.
That's what I'm talking about right there. That's some good stuff, man. Good stuff. So tell us a little bit about yourself, man, and what like led you up to um, you know, going and playing football and those things. You from the Dallas Fort Worth area, Oak Cliff. You know, from a kid to where you are now, man. You know, what was your driving force that led you in the football, and then from in football, it led you to being in the corporate world, um, which led you to Operation Push. So let's start with being in Oak Cliff, you know, and tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my start, you know, of course, I grew up where it wasn't no option to go to church, and um, it was no option to go to church. So we was in church from 8 in the morning to 2 in the evening, and you know, those are your options. You know, you had to be active in the church. Um, and you know, I grew up in a household. I had a mother and dad. We had our share of you know, personal issues going on in the house, where it wasn't, you know, a perfect situation at all. But the good thing about it is I had aunts and uncles and people that, you know, fill those voids. Like they say, you know, it takes a village. So for me, you know, my personality and my whole makeup started growing up in a Baptist church. And from there, you know, we had to be on the usher board. We had to do Sunday school. We also had to do, you know, the Congress, where all the churches would come together, and we would have to do books of the Bible in front of a crowd. We had to do a lot of public speaking. We hated it. And that kind of developed me. Now that I'm a older man, all those things developed me into who I am today. So growing up in Oak Cliff, it was a very volatile environment. I mean, you had drugs, gun violence everywhere. If you're watching the news right now in Dallas, we've had multiple shootings in Oak Cliff. As a matter of fact, Boosie just got shot right down the street from where I grew up. And then you had another famous rapper out of Dallas just get killed off the main freeway that took us to and fro from the school that I went to. Really all the schools. So right now we're praying for our city and praying for the southern sector of Dallas, because we've had multiple homicides in the last week or so. But growing up in that environment, the church really gave me a good foundation that molded me to want to be something in life, because of course I dreamed just like any other kid to be like Mike. My first love was basketball, and then football came along. I played Pop Warner in Oak Cliff, and all the coaches invested in me. And then I went to a famous high school, Dallas Carter, that they have the movie about. And I wasn't even a starter in high school. I mean, I just stuck around. I stuck with it. I was a special teams guy. I ended up getting a scholarship offer to a junior college in California. And then I had basically cracked the starting lineup. And then the rest was history. I was able to get down to Nickel State on a full scholarship. But that journey of growing up in the church, all those teachers and coaches invested in me. I had a praying mother and grandmother. And I made some mistakes along the way, but I feel like all those things molded me into the person I am today, because I always said, it's like I wanted to make it to the NFL or the NBA. If I was able to get there, I was going to do something to help my community. I always had this on my mind, even in high school, because it's an awful thing when you walk to school and you see trash everywhere. You see people that are homeless. You see people that are in need. It just puts it in your spirit that when I'm able, I'm going to come back and do something. And that's pretty much my story and journey in a nutshell. It's just that so many coaches and teachers, and I had a praying mother and grandmother, and just so many people that invested in me. And they just basically, I think too, another key component, man, is if you at least find something that you want to do when you're a young kid. I mean, if it's basketball, if it's football, even if it's music, if that one thing would at least hold on to you enough that it would keep your attention, that it would keep you saying, you know what, man, I want to do something. This is what I want to do in life. And it would keep you on that straight and narrow. Those are the type of things that will, and if you put some God on that, if you put prayer and just saying, Lord, if you would just help me. I think if you do that as a kid, growing into a teenager, to a young man, God would honor you. He would order your steps and honor that request. And that's basically why I'm here today, man. Just based on all those things that I mentioned. And that's kind of how I was able to make it through and get to where I am today.
That's awesome. That is awesome. You know, one of the things that I realized about all the things that you just said, you know, what's for you is for you, and nobody can take it from you. Despite what anybody say, if your passion is in music or in athletics or in things that are not music and athletics, it's there for a reason. And many of us can easily deter kids when they say they want to be X, Y, and Z, and we say, "Nah, you can't do that because it's inconvenient for us." But you know, that's their dream, that's their vision. So you know, it's so important to know um, where we are right now and how we pursued where we are right now, but to see ourselves through kids' eyes and to make sure that we encourage and empower them to be in the position where we are, and that's doing what we love to do. So, yeah, man, I'm with you 100% on that. Uh, you know, about being molded when we were younger than what we are today, to prepare us for this moment where we are right now. So
Exactly.
that's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Tell me a little bit about your corporate career before you became an insurance adjuster agent for State Farm, the work that you used to do that led you up to where you are right now?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because, that's another journey in itself. I actually started out my first job leaving Nickel State. I always heard that, you want to get a job at Enterprise because Enterprise Rent-A-Car had a great training program. And I kept hearing, and they even came to career day at Nickel State. And I kept hearing, if you get a job there because of their training, you're attracted to other corporations. So my first job, my first year, I was a sales rep at Enterprise. And it was true. I mean, that training, it was like 2 days all over again, but it was in a suit and tie. And I learned so much from that training, I became attracted to other companies. So I left Enterprise after a year, and then I started working for AIG, American General, and got into the insurance industry, selling life and health insurance. And I did really well in that, but I just kind of got, burnt out of that really quickly. So I moved into the banking industry because I always my dream was to be a business banker. So I did everything in the bank. I got my financial planning license. I was a personal banker. I was a mortgage banker. And every time I would get really close to being a business banker, the bank would transition or that bank would get bought or they would do a merger. You see that a lot. If you got banking friends, they will tell you this all the time. There's either a merger, somebody's bought out. Because I worked with Wachovia, for example, and they were bought by Wells Fargo. And, it just kept being a domino effect. It just kept happening. And then my best friend, he played football at Oklahoma, running back, Michael Thornton. He has an Allstate agency. And he told me, he said, hey, man, I got a customer who's doing great, being an adjuster. You may want to look at this opportunity. And it was basically as simple as that. I looked at it. Of course, I had to go through license and certification training. And once I got in, I mean, thank God for the blessing of, like I said, going back to what I said, the definition of a man, listening, because my friend called me and I could have just blew him off and just been like, you know what, man, I appreciate it, but I listened to him. He said, Dak, you need to take a look at this. And I took a look at it, man. Next thing you know, probably a month later, I was studying for the test. And I was still working at the time at Bank of America, going through all the steps. And I had to go through the license process. All that stuff took about 6 months because it's federal. You have to go through all that stuff. And then that's what kind of led me to where I am today. But my journey in the banking industry, just for anybody that's, listening or looking at this out there, my biggest thing was now thinking about where I am today and the financial gain and prosperity that I have now. It makes the journey so much sweeter because now I just be like, man, what if this would have happened sooner? Or what if this could have happened? You think about that, but also on the flip side, you say, you know what? I probably wasn't able to listen to that advice or listening to that recommendation at that time. And it happened at the perfect time, at the perfect moment when I was able to take heed to that information. I had my ups and downs at the bank. I had success. I got sales goals that I had met. I got trophies. I even won trips to, different places when they used to do the trips. If you meet quarterly goals, if you're top in the region, I had ups, and then I had times where it was years where my sales goals, I could not meet them or I just couldn't hit the mark. I went through all of that. And now thinking about where I am today, man, I just count it all joy, man. And I think that's why it's important for us to just stay the course. Stay the course. Don't panic. Now, does that mean, I know that's cliche, does that mean, if I stay the course, I'm going to be eating lobster and shrimp every day? or if I'm gonna be eating steak all the time. No, staying the course may mean you may have some days where you're doing a $5 pizza deal, or you may be eating, noodles or whatever, and you may eat steak every other month or once a quarter. But to think about where I am today and the blessings and just everything, how everything is falling in place, man, all I can do is just count it all joy. So that's kind of where I am. I'm an independent adjuster now. Primarily, I can work for any major insurance carrier, but I'm certified through State Farm. That's who I work for. That's who keep me busy. And that's kind of what has brought me to where I am today, man. So, yeah, corporate America, to all my corporate guys, they make an attest to this. Corporate America could be, it's a double-edged sword. It could be excellent on one end, but it can turn a whole 360 overnight. And it could just be somewhere it's your worst nightmare, depending on what corporate job you're working at. And, thank God for, it's a blessing in what's going on now, because now they're doing what we thought was done 40, 50 years ago, station, but now they're doing more to make things more universal for all ethnicities, which is what it should have been, because the banking industry, not to get off course here, but it was not diverse at all. And that's just a fact. And it was no diversity. And now they're finally catching on with all the protests, thank God. So it creates more opportunities. But yeah, that's my story. That's my journey related to where I am today as an independent claims adjuster.
That's awesome, man. I know that, we talked about it a little bit, and I think, I don't know if people really know, like, the things that an independent claims adjuster witness when they go there. And you shared a little bit about, what you have seen. I think it's, if you don't mind sharing a little bit of that, just so they can get an idea of what happens when there's a storm or wind or some sort of damage to homes that take place. If you can share some of that and some of the things that you have seen, just to paint a real picture for these individuals to know exactly what it is that you do.
Absolutely. So basically, let's some of the hurricanes that recently happened. Like we were talking about Hurricane Michael. Hurricane Michael was a couple years ago. It hit Georgia pretty good. So basically my job, State Farm will reach out to the licensed independent adjusters, because what happens is it's like a 911. They have to bring an army of qualified adjusters like myself into a territory to get people back to what we call pre-loss condition. Meaning we got to get monies to these people that are in need as soon as possible. So we have to go out, inspect the damage, and also track these people down. Some of these people, we just instantly sent money to get them in a hotel, or wherever they're staying, we got to get them monies. Now, with that being said, we got to go to their house. Their house could be split in half with a tree in the middle of their living room. The house can be underwater. It could be a dynamic of a flood, a fire. It could be a hailstorm. A hailstorm could have came through with quarter-size hail and destroyed the vehicles, all the elevations, and the roof. And when I get on site, my job is just like an FBI agent. I have to take photos. I have to do measurements. Sometimes we have to use a drone to go up over the house to scope out the area. And then in a lot of cases, we have to see how big the tree was that went through the house. So it's a lot of investigative work. Also, at the same time, any adjuster tell you we're like a pastor or a counselor, a therapist. We're all that in one, because when that catastrophe happens, outside of talking to them, communicating with their family members, or being in a hotel, or being basically with their families, the next person they're going to see is basically us. We're the only people they're going to see. And we have to come with an upbeat attitude, with a smiling face. And we also have to let them know, like, hey, you know, we are here for you. We're praying for you and your family. Our job is to get you back to where you were before. But with that being said, everything is full circle with this job related to going back to the upbringing, because I only feel like my foundation is the only thing that would allow me to do this, because that foundation in faith, in playing football, in leadership, in camaraderie, in having an upbeat attitude in the midst of chaos, all of those things are important to be able to basically the job that I'm doing right now. And it's the same thing in our everyday lives, you know, and that's the dynamic of having faith and being on a team and playing athletics, because you're learning these team building activities, building rapport. So yeah, to go back to what you're asking, you know, the job, you know, you pull up and people are needing your help. And it goes back to, you know, being, even though I'm being paid a salary, it goes back to that whole thing about being a servant. Because even though I'm working a job, I'm also being a servant at the same time, meeting people's needs, you know, being as helpful and resourceful as I can. So that's kind of the makeup of what an independent claims adjuster is.
Awesome. 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 You know, in everything that we do, you know, I've learned to remind myself that we are human beings before we are employees. And
Right.
so, you know, we don't ever want to put ourselves in a position where we're robots. You know,
Right.
we have to have some sympathy when it's time to be sympathetic, and to be empathetic when it's time to display some empathy, you know, and that's who we are as humans. So um, yeah, you're the right guy for it, man. I'm glad I know you, and I know what you're all about. And anybody who see you walking towards them, you know, I know that they'll be well taken care of. I know that they'll be loved, you know, because of who you are and whose you are, which makes it that much more important. So thank you so much for sharing that story, man. Um, you know, there's a lot of pushing that's going on these days. You know, pushing over here, pushing there, a little pushback or whatnot. But you know, we need to tell these people what Operation Push is all about. So, you like how I did that now? You
Yeah,
like
I like that. I like how you did that.
we need to tell them what Operation Push is. You know, the push that has some structure to it, and have a vision and a mission in it, man. So we need to talk to them about Operation Push, man. Bless us with that.
Absolutely. So basically, I was when I got out of college, God blessed me. I was able to buy a home in a subdivision in a suburb, I guess you would say, Arlington, Texas. And I was out there, and one of my banking friends, he was a coach of a youth organization out there. So I started coaching football. I mean, I dove into it. I love the kids. I did that for years. And I had the same mentality. You know, I was a tough, hard coach, but it was all about the game of life. You know, we were doing that between the age of 7, because our kids were between 7 and 12. So we were teaching them about, you know, the game of life, and we ran it like a college, man, because my buddy played at Indiana. I played at Nichols. So some of the parents didn't like that, but as they stayed with us, they were like, man, this kid understand playbook. He understand taking out trash. He understand being on time. So I did that for years, but then I started feeling guilty because the neighborhood I grew up in, which was only about, I don't know, 10, 12 miles away, you know, I was living in this suburb, and not to say there's no issues in a suburb, there's 10 times more issues where I grew up, which is Oak Cliff. So I started feeling guilty. I told one of my best friends, Brandon Laws, I said, man, I got to go back to my neighborhood and do something. So I was up late one night. I never been a great writer, but I just started writing a mission statement. I didn't even know what name I wanted to call the organization, but I love the word push. And push was taken by someone. I noticed Operation Push was available. So I said, man, I'll take it. I didn't even put a whole lot of thought into it. I just said, you know what, man, I love the word push because the focus is pushing these young men out of their comfort zone to make them want to leave these streets, but not only leave, go get some education, go get your entrepreneurship, and then come back. So that's basically what I did. I stopped coaching Little League football after years. And I decided, you know what, I'm starting my organization. And in 2013, I wrote up a mission statement. Like I said, I didn't really know what name, but I went with Operation Push Foundation. And I just got on the phone and started calling people, man, and stuff started coming together. I had a lawyer friend. She looked at my mission statement and she edited it. She touched it up for me. And our goal and purpose is basically to, kids that are between 5th and 8th grade, which is normally the ages of 10 years old through 14 years old. I wanted to adopt the schools that I went to in Oak Cliff. And I wanted to basically once a month, take these boys on an adventure, take them on an adventure, not to have fun, but to hopefully get their antennas and turn the light on in their head that, you know what, football, basketball, baseball, all that stuff is good and dandy, but there's some opportunity outside of that where I can be a positive, impactful community leader or a model citizen. And also on top of that, an entrepreneur. So we hit the ground running. The focus again is for them to get an early start on entrepreneurship and also collegiate preparation. So we've done a lot of college. We've taken kids on college tours. We've also done things like Le Cordon Bleu is a big chef school where you can be a chef. We've taken them there where they can see live chefs cooking. We've done everything from they spend a day with the Dallas Police Department. They spend a day with the fire department. And we do things like this where we do community events, where we organize trash cleanups. And we also do things where on Thanksgiving, where families in need, we make sure that we get with our schools and they tell us the families that are really hurting and need help during the Thanksgiving time. So we make sure we do turkey drives and things of that nature. But the foundation of the organization, Operation Push, our mission is to solely get our boys 5th through 8th grade. We don't want to wait till they're in high school. We want to turn that light on in them if we can in the 5th grade, in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And we take them and we prepare them to be college ready and also to go after entrepreneurship. Because the only way you can, I believe, is that the sooner you get the information, the sooner the better you get the information that you need that will make you push to a higher ground, the better. And we believe that because our focus is if you get it later, that's fine, because there are a lot of good testimonies that they got it, later. But we feel like if you can get that push that you need at an early age between 10 and 14 years old, and if you get that early before you get to high school, you're already 10 times ahead of your competition. And then you don't have to even make it a competition. You now can basically pass it to someone else that's your age, and you can become your own motivational speaker to someone else that's around you. So Operation Push, man, it's all about, like I said to you on the phone, my pastor, he said something that stuck with me. Giving keeps you grateful. And I love that, because the more I give, I can't beat God's giving, but the more I give, the more it allows me to sit back and mentally be thankful and grateful of what I can do to impact my community on a positive level with so much negative going on. So that's what we're all about, man. We're Operation Push, man. You can our information on Facebook is Operation Push Foundation. Please go and like our page, Operation Push Foundation. Also, if you want to visit our website, you can go to operationpushfoundation.org. We're on there. You can check out some of our stuff on our gallery, see some of the cool events we've done over the years. And hey, we're moving and we're excited. The coronavirus has been tough this year, but we're excited, man. We're coming up on our 7th year, and we look forward to keep things rolling. We're just excited, man. So that's what Operation Push is all about, man. And please go and like and share our page. We are greatly appreciated.
Man, that's awesome. Are you guys on Instagram or anything as well?
No, we haven't. We still a Facebook. We had a Twitter, man. We wasn't using it, and most of our activity is our website and Facebook. It seemed like the grown folk, the folks that's family oriented and about business, they on Facebook. Everybody on Instagram, they flexing muscles and doing everything else. Yeah, man.
You right about that. You right about that. That's good, man. I'm excited about it, and just hoping that some people who are listening will see the value in supporting Operation Push and all the things that you're doing. Did you want to leave your contact information as far as your name and everything on Facebook in case people wanted to reach out to you directly?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, my name is Daiquari Wilson. I am the CEO and the president of the organization. Our vice president, who's Josh Armstrong, and one of our board directors is Keith Gibson. Those guys are all, corporate guys and also entrepreneurs who helped me. I can't forget that because they may be watching. But Josh, he's our vice president. He's right now preparing. He's supposed to be at the stores getting the turkeys ready for our Thanksgiving giveaway on Friday, the same as Keith Gibson. But they're the ones that help me keep this thing rolling. But again, I'm Daiquari Wilson, the president of the organization. You can contact me via phone. My cell number is 972-672-2659. Or you can always go to our website. It has our contact information there as well. That website, again, is operationpushfoundation.org. Or again, on Facebook, just type in Operation Push Foundation. We're very proactive on our social media page. So if you send us a message or anything, please, any encouraging words, or if you want to donate, please go to our website. We are a 501c3 organization. I know that's important. So for anybody listening out there, and if you have, I don't care, $1 or $100,000, it's a tax write-off. We're legit, and we will post content so you can see, our work and boots on the ground, as we call it. You will see our work in motion. That's one thing about us. You won't have to worry about if you donate. It don't matter if it's 50 cents. You will see, what we're doing, how we're trying to impact the community. So again, operationpushfoundation.org. We appreciate any and all support, and just keep us lifted in you guys' prayers.
Awesome. That is awesome, bro. Whew, man. I'm just so excited, man. All the great things that you're doing, and I know that it's going to continue to grow because as you continue to push those individuals, your words have pushed individuals who are curious or on the fence about what can I do to make a difference, with all the stuff that's going on currently. So as long as we stay the course, that's one of my favorite cliches. Stay the course, baby. God's gonna take care of everything. So just keep up the good work, man. You're doing great work, bro. You're doing a great work. So anything else, man, you wanted to share with the audience, man, to let them know what's up?
Uh, that's pretty much it. I wanted to close out and leave the group with something whenever we're ready to close, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, man,
Uh,
go ahead and drop that knowledge on them, man.
so my thing was, in closing, I just wanted to, in the pandemic we're in the middle of, and everything that's going on with this racial tension and the violence, it just seems like the violence is at an all-time high, especially where I'm from. And I just thought about this, nobody really knows what would be enough to make America right. But if we open our hearts and our minds and express love and peace to our neighbor, that would be a healthy start. And I just want to close with that. If we just do that, because nobody knows what would be enough to make America right. Nobody knows, but at the end of the day, if we express peace and love to our neighbor, that would be a healthy start that could impact the next generation. So that's what I want to leave you guys or folks with that's listening out there. And like I said, man to man, let's talk, baby.
That's what's up right there. That's what's up. And I'm not gonna ruin this to talk about your Cowboys, but we're gonna well,
Oh man,
it's okay, man. It's okay. We lost our quarterback, so it's okay. So it's a tough one.
man, I have no comeback, brother. I have
I
nothing.
know. Hey, me either, man. I ain't got nothing because I don't know which direction it's gonna go. But nevertheless, we shall watch and support and stay the course.
Man, I have absolutely nothing. No mas. I have
No
no
mas.
no dog in the fight on that. We are as bad as it gets. So
I hear you, man. I hear you. I hear
I'm
you.
I'm a I'm a
Well, look,
walking punching bag right now.
yeah, you, you everybody's therapy right now.
For real. I put my hands up. I'm just like, man, just punch me. Just don't put your neck on me. Just punch me to death. Because I have nothing to say. We stink.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Well, we'll say that conversation for another time. But what I would love to do is to get you back, in 2021, and hopefully, about 3 months, sometimes in the spring. And we want to follow up on the things that you've done and everything, and build this relationship with our audience, my audience, your audience, and just make sure that people know what you're all about. If they didn't hear it the first time, then they'll hear it again the second time. Because I want people to know my neighbor. Like you said, be kind to your neighbor, love your neighbor. This is what this is all about. And people to know who my neighbors are, who are doing great things in their community. So definitely would like for you to come back again. We'll do this again, Lord willing, in about 3 months or so. And we'll just empower people again with some great words, and
Absolutely.
remind them to push operational style.
Absolutely. I like that.
Yes, sir. So I'm gonna put you in the waiting room, man, and I appreciate you, man. I love you, and I'll talk with you in a few minutes.
All right, same to you. Love you and thank you, man. Man to
You
man,
got it,
let's
brother.
talk.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys so much for joining us on Man to Man Let's Talk Facebook Live show with the interview with Daiquari Wilson, my neighbor. I love him to the fullest. And I encourage you all to support Operation Push. Go to the website to support him there and reach out to Daiquari on Facebook to be able to contact him and to find out ways that you can support that organization. So I want to encourage you and remind you, like what Daiquiri was saying as an insurance claim adjuster, uh, how he steps on the scene and with a smile on his face and encouragement to help people through during the tragic times. We have to be there for our fellow human beings and to remember that we are human beings before we are employees. So don't ever think that you have a job that is greater than your earthly responsibility as far as what you're supposed to do as a human being, and that's to treat each other with love. Like Zachary said, start by loving your neighbor first. If we want to make our country better than what it is now, we can at least start by loving our neighbor. So if you want to see change, make sure change happens with you. I encourage you all as you go to bed tonight to make sure that you think about ways that you can help the next person that you know needs help in your life, and then watch how God blesses you. Okay, that's my encouragement and my challenge to you on this day. Remember, you got to push. Okay, if you don't push yourself, somebody's gonna push you, right? And they're gonna do it operational style, Operation Push, baby. So keep those things in mind, okay? Step outside your comfort zone a little bit and just know that God is there to help you through any challenges you have in your life. And make sure you show love, unconditional love, agape love. That's that godly love. All right, do that and everything will be just fine. And even if they don't receive it, it's okay. Do it anyway and they'll remember it, guaranteed. To my men, let's make sure that we stay connected, men, and let's get with man to man. Let's talk. We're gonna have some great things coming up in the beginning of the new year, and we want you to be there for our events, so you can help me and all the other men who will be there. Go to www.m2mletstalk.com for more information, and let's be the best men that God has created us to be. So I love you all, and I thank you all for joining us this evening. And if it's the Lord's will, we'll do this again soon. I just want to make sure that you know it's important to stay focused, stay in your lane so you can stay the course. And remember, in order for us to be great, we must communicate because God has a purpose for me just like He does for you. Okay? He has a purpose for you just like He does for me. And there's no need for us to compete. God has given us enough air to breathe, which means there's enough blessings for us to receive. And you need to ask yourself this question on a daily basis. And the answer to your why of why you do what you do, if God is not in your answer, then why are you doing it? Again, I say, if the answer to your why does not include God, then why are you doing it? Keep those things in mind as you lay your head down to rest. When you wake up in the morning, and that you start your day off right, and you start it off with God. Have yourself a wonderful evening, a wonderful day, and remember to follow us on YouTube, Man to Man, Let's Talk. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Man to Man, let's talk.